Hey everyone, it's Zen and welcome to the first ever Dragon Ball Super Fusion World Top 5 Decks of the Week in the Fusion World digital app. And if you'd like to support my content, well, subscribing and hitting that like button is the best thing you could do. It's completely free and helps me reach my goal of 1,000 subs. Well, we've got 5 decks to talk about today, so let's get started. And it's not this deck, let me tell you. This is kind of just a meme deck, baiting you guys. Wanted to see if you guys would really try this deck out. Yeah, we're not running a top god list Earthling deck. However, we do have a Trunks in the top 5, so let's check it out. This is the skillless Trunks deck list, and honestly, it's pretty spicy and annoying to go up against. Now, this deck is really good to go up against yellow and red. However, it kind of struggles against green because of their ability to ramp and their huge boss monsters that you could only really counter with Zeno. However, another neat way to counter them would be to get as many Vegetos on the board, reduce their cost to at least 4 or less, and then Sinister Sickle them. But anyway, that's not the main strategy of this deck. The way this deck works is all around Videl here. Let's go check it out real quick. Videl's a 1-cost card that once per turn during your main phase, you could use 1 energy to then play 1 skill-less battle card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, which honestly is the hardest thing to manage for blue. I'll give you my tip for managing that requirement for effects in a bit, but first let's check out these 3 costs. Well, first we have this Son Goku vanilla with 25k power, then we have the Gray Saiyaman, as well as Gotenks, and already you can see these huge layable cards for only 1 energy that also provide 10k combo if you need to is pretty nice, and has been seeing a huge surge of play during this week, specifically going up against Frieza, since Frieza has been dominating. Now, a quick tip that I like to do when I'm playing a blue deck list that requires you to manage your resources is I try to place all the cards that have a requirement of 7 or fewer in my hand to one side, typically the left side, and then all the other cards can be on the right side. That way, when I want to use a card like Gallic Gun or Peel Off, because that's happened so many times and it's frustrating, or even the Videl, right? I look to see where they're at first. I'm pulling it from my left. That means I need to check the count of my hand. And that's just something that's helped me because I like to play multiple leaders and multiple color groups. And this is very specific to blue only. And it's very hard to always remember. So something like that, just by sorting out your card effects on either left or right, can really help you not make that mistake, which could cost you the entire game. Now let's check out another top deck this week. And it's actually another blue deck list, which is the Control Vegeta deck list. And just like its name suggests, this thing is all about control. We got our peel-offs, we got our 1-drop Gotens, but we also have 2 of these Bulmas here that synergize really well with the leader. Let me show you this real quick. So check this out. Once you're awakened with your leader, we all know that we can activate their once per turn ability during the main phase to become a 35k body, right? If you have 7 or fewer again. So remember that 7 or fewer, 35k body. Later in the game, specifically like a late game swing, you can play your Bulma once you've reached that card effect for 7 or fewer to also give your leader another 10k. So now you're swinging for 45k, but that's not all. You could also combo with this. So now you're swinging with your leader for 55k, and that is just insane, right? We're looking at the aggro approach first. However, it's not limited to just your leader. You could actually use this ability with your double striker. So now you can swing with a double strike for 55k. Which is insane, right? But now let's look at the control aspects of this deck. We have 4 Sinister Sickles, we have 4 Zenos, we also have this guy, Goku Black, for later in the game that can bring out your things like Gotenks, your Zamasu Fuse, which helps you draw as well as your Vegeta if you're trying to synergize that bounce effect. But all in all, this is a very strong deck. And then top it all off, you have your peel-off engine that honestly later in the game is very oppressive. Now again, this Vegeta, the blue deck list, very, very good into yellow, very good into red, kind of struggles into green, but not completely out of the picture with your 4 copies of Zeno, as well as all these other big boss cards that can kind of double strike, attack 2 times, bounce, and bring out other cards to the field. And if you're wondering why the heck I have 2 different super combos here with the 2 Videls, well, why not? That's how you know I made this. Moving on to the next deck list, we got Frieza, and I love Frieza. I am a yellow main thick and through, right? But this deck it's been so hard to play. I've been making my own personal tweaks with King Cold and Mecha Frieza. However, that's not going to be in this week's top 5. Maybe next week if we start seeing it do well and other people play it. As of right now, a lot of people are playing the Ginyu package, which makes sense. However, that's why blue is doing so good into this, because they can just remove those bodies for like nothing. However, Frieza is so good into green, specifically because of our SR Vegeta. Now, if you've never played yellow or you don't know what that does, let's go check it out real quick. Let me show you the alt art real quick. Now, permanent opponent's turn, all of your rest mode battle cards can be KO'd by your opponent's skills, which means they're double androids, they're Brolys, anything they want to do to pop off your field, they can't do any of that, which is kind of weird, right? When you think about Frieza being a leader that can restand 2 of your cards, which honestly sounds like you won't be able to use this ability at all. However, I would probably use it with things like your cooler, with things like your golden Frieza, unless they're close to 8 energy, because then you still have to worry about them playing their Broly and being able to pop it off. But if they're not at their even close to their 8 energy, then yeah, you can restand your double striker or restand this guy, Kui. We got 2 of them, because if they do choose to pop this with their double androids or even their Broly, guess what? You rest them instantly. And then hopefully the following turn, you can play your golden Frieza, pop their big boss, and now every other big boss they play is played into rest mode. Honestly, yellow was built to completely counter green, and I'm all here for it. We also have 2 of these golden death beams specifically for red, but it honestly works for yellow and blue. And then we have 1 supernova, because you never know when your double striker needs that extra oomph of energy. But yeah, no, this is a really nice Frieza mid-range deck. Personally, my favorite leader in yellow, but with the amount of blue, like you saw, we have 2 blue leaders in the top 5 this week. It's just been very hard to even play this deck consistently with the Ginyu package, since they can just remove everything. But yeah, let's move on to another deck list, and this one is by far the one I've been having the most fun with. So there's going to be 2 types of decks that I really like out of these top 5. The one that I've been having the most fun with, and then the one that I've been getting the most wins with, right? So the first one we're talking about is the one that I've been having the most fun with, and that's this Beerus deck, because it goes into everything so well. The only thing it really kind of struggles into is maybe another Beerus deck or blue, right? But that's pretty much it. That's like a maybe another Beerus deck, right? But it also does good into yellow. It does really good into green, surprisingly, right? You're looking at me and like, what the heck? What do you mean it does really good into green? Well, check this out. We have so many damage reducers. Let me just paint you a picture real quick. If they play their double androids, we can use our ability, which minuses 10k on any of our opponent's battle cards, right? So let's say their double androids are out. Guess what? We drop 2 of these bad boys. They're gone, right? Let's say we don't even want to use that. We have this thing, which is insane. This is so strong. We can easily just remove a double androids with 1 Rumishi and our leader's effect. What about even a Broly? How do we get rid of a Broly? Well, we can use a time skip and our leader's effect, which again is pretty nuts. But let's say we don't have that access. How else can we get rid of a standing Broly? Well, we can use our leader's effect to drop him to 35. Then we can play a single Whis here to drop him to 30, and then hey, guess what? Another Rumishi. This thing is so good at just removing. It says Beerus pressure, but this honestly feels like a very Beerus control deck. And then we have 3 glimpses to help synergize with our Kefla here. We also have our Sun Gohans and our Keflas here that helps us draw for Awakened as our Tournament of Power synergy. I kind of took out the Android 17, which, you know, a lot of people typically like for Beerus, but just having all those 0 combos in this deck did not feel that great. So just making that simple change and replacing those Android 17s with actual cards that give us combo and other value made this deck so much fun to play. I think my win rate with this is actually insane, but not as insane as the following deck, which I don't think I have a single loss with. It's kind of nuts, but check it out real quick. It's been doing really well, really well. However, I have not been going up. I think I only went up against 1 yellow, and it was a Ginyu deck. I have not gone up against a Frieza deck yet. which is what I really want to test this out on. My strategy is if they, bring out their SR Vegeta, I'm just honestly going to ignore it. If I'm able to ramp and build up my board, I'm just going to swing with all my big bodies, and I'm going to heal with my heal Han as well as my Cell. Oh, did they switch this? We can actually make it bigger on this screen? What the heck? I didn't know that. All right, this is sick. Yo, I'm learning so much about the client. That is a new update. So yeah, we have our leader, we have our 1-drop searcher right here, and then we have a ton of androids to synergize with our 4-drop android here. This thing is our bread and butter. Let me paint you a picture. We go first so we don't have an energy marker. So by turn 4, when we play this, restore, restand our energy. Now we have 3 standing energy and 2 rested, which means we're at 5, and then we play this Trunks. I love that. I love that synergy because that instantly puts us at 6 energy. And if we're awakened, guess what? We're swinging with 30k, which is kind of nuts. Other cards we have is this to help us remove cards on the opponent's side of the field, or to honestly bring out our Trunks if we need to. We have 4 double strikers. I was kind of hesitant on this, but this allows me to charge one of these early on, knowing that I still have 3 more in the deck. We have our 2 life Hans. 1 Secret Rare Son Gohan that just blows up the entire board, which is great. 1 Cell to help us get back life, as well as knock out 2 big bosses. This came in clutch against a Goku Black deck, where they had 2 giant boss Goku Blacks on the board, just completely remove them. And then we have 3 Brolys, as well as a bunch of these extras. Now, this is something I really want to talk about. I don't have destructive strength for 2 reasons. 1 is essentially kind of does the same thing, but over and over again. And 2, this is an android trait, which helps me also synergize with this android, right? So I'd rather be able to play one of these cards instead of just having only 1 usable destructive strength, and then the rest is kind of trash, right? And waiting for that card. This is good whenever I draw it. Destructive strength is only really good on turn 3, but that's my opinion. And like I said, I'm doing really good with this Ramp-roids deck list. And then we have 1 Earth Destroying Blow, 1 of our Big Bang Attack to go up against potential other greens or any other 5-drop double strikers we just need to remove. And then we have 4 Gigantic Meteors. But yeah, there you have it. That is the top 5 decks of the week for Dragon Ball Super Fusion World in the digital client. Now, I might change the day I upload these videos in the future, but as of right now, I think Fridays work the best. You watch the video on Friday, you know what to prepare for next week, or at least know what you got going into for the weekend. I imagine decks are going to change on Monday. People will switch things up, and that's why Friday might be a better day for me to upload this, because I've actually got the credible resources and information from actually playing on the digital client. But yeah, there you guys have it. I hope you enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.